This is Rodney with Landscaping with ZebraScapes. We're here today to talk about improving your property and the value of your real estate and what you have. So many times people come, they call us and says, my house been on the market, I can't sell it, or I'm putting my house on the market. I mean, I'm sure you guys had that go through you, like, I'm going to list it. What do I need to do? You're in the house touching things up and the outside. You look at that. You want to watch your money. You don't want to throw. I mean, it's no different than talking to your banker, your financial advisor on investments. Well, what can I get from what I'm putting in? What's the value? And then it's like, well, I don't want it on the market for 60, 80, 100 days. So what can I do to make it look nice to get this thing sold? There's many questions that should be asked. It's just wise. It's just business for investments and for real estate, and to understand, how do I get the most value out of my house? Let's talk about adding value at a low cost. I mean, just $5,000, $10,000 to add value to your property is on the low end. And to me, one of the biggest things is when you go up to a house and you're walking in the entry. So look at yourself as the buyer. You're going into your place to buy. What do you see? And you step back and you walk. You look at first of all, when you're walking up, to me, it's always a sidewalk. If it's a flagstone sidewalk, if it's a gravel sidewalk or DG, I honestly, that's a huge improvement that would add value. Pavers add a significant value. And those, I mean, most sidewalks, $5,000 to $10,000, depends what you got and what's got to be taking place. But you can right there give a beautiful entry with a sidewalk. If you have a concrete sidewalk, but it's shifted and it lifted an area and you got a half inch or an inch gap, just think about someone walking and as they look around, they make that they drag their feet and they trip over that little half inch rise in the concrete that shifted. That will be a negative walking in someone's house. They'll turn back and look at it and they'll think, oh my goodness, we got to tear all this concrete out. This is going to be expensive. And they're going into the place thinking, I already have work to do. So, and also if it's a narrow sidewalk, a 2.5 foot sidewalk, or a sidewalk that don't got a nice curve to it, and it's not a efficient walkway. So you like, okay, we need to widen it, just make it a little bit wider. And you can add, I like 4 foot sidewalks. To me, 4 foot is very easy. You can pull a trash can back and forth. It's just nice and wide. You can walk side by side. If you're going to the front door, those are all big pluses. And I think you get a huge return on investment when you can have a nice walkway and an entryway where the pavers curve and it's kind of a welcoming, that adds great value to when you come into the entry. You want them to be looking down and say, this looks nice. And as they see the walkway, that's very positive. So, paver walkway or a concrete walkway, if you want to be, if you have it, just clean it up. If it's get it sealed or whatever to make it look nice and shiny, that adds great value also. And just the cleanliness of it is important. So widen the sidewalk or make it smooth. If the paver's got subtle mark, if you have pavers already and it's got a dip in it, or the sides crack because someone drove over it, just fix it. Lift up the pavers, put the mortar in it. That little bit of touch up makes a big difference. If you already got pavers and you want to just make them smooth on top, where they on the sides, if somehow they broke off, those things there add great value. The other thing is on the sides, decorative rock. Do you have is weed fabric showing? That's just annoying. Seeing weed fabric, seeing poly lines sticking above the rocks that you're covering up, all those things. I mean, you want that rock to look nice and refreshed. Clean it up and just add several tons of rock in the entryway to spruce up the rock around it, cover all the weed fabric where it don't look stingy and skimpy. And they're like, man, they cut some serious corners. You don't want them to think that when they walk into your house. And then, another thing at a low cost, you can add boulders, just a couple clusters of boulders for accent. A lot of people, I want to plant a bunch of trees. I want to get some bushes. I personally would hold off on that because there's a lot of people, as there were a water shortage in Arizona, that's not a positive thing. I've been to property where let's rip out plants and put boulders in because I'm not going to water plants. And so they see that, hey, that just low maintenance. A lot of people are in this low maintenance thing. So I would not be excited and not put my money toward a bunch of bushes and trees. And I would consider boulders. I would consider nice accents and mounds. Those there add great value to someone's property, and it's not a significant amount of money to do that at all. So I would definitely strongly consider the entryway and really focusing on that part. Also by the mailbox. Is your mailbox look nice, or is your mailbox a crooked, or a column mailbox, a nice mailbox? That is your address. That's literally telling you who you are. I mean, that's your, to me, mailboxes, and that just adds great, as represents what you stand for. Is it on a post with just a little box on the front, or is it a nice column uh, mailbox with a number on the side? It stands out. It's making a statement. This is uh, the property you get. I mean, it has your landmarker on it, and I really think that adds a lot of value when they drive by and look at it. I mean, every day they're going to go to that mailbox and they're going to open it up. And so you want that to be a wow factor and not overdo it, but just a nice mailbox, not one that's bent, curved, or banged, dented up. You want that to stand out. You don't need to be way overkill, but it does make a difference. Is sprucing, if it's got damaged, or if it's a post, you can build a whole column for $3,000 or $3,000 to $5,000, and it's will make a big accent. That'll make a big statement. And also, going back to other ideas, if those are all covered and you're like, hey, that looks good, I like that, but those are covered. To me, it's always incredible to have one part of your property a focal point. The backyard, wherever there's a big window or an area that's a focal point that they look out. The kitchen window, if there's an area there, the back patio window, or in the front where it's just kind of blah. I mean, I just get some big boulders, put a little mound in there. You get some tall, skinny, tall rocks that just make a statement. Just one area where it just kind of it draws your eye, and those are very important on someone's property when they look at it out. The kitchen windows, you're always looking out. The patio, you're looking out. You want something they can look out and just their eyes draw to it and their mind goes there, and it just brings a focal point to them, and it's like, wow, that's mine. And not like overseeing your property into the neighbor's property, unless you got a beautiful mountain view, but you don't want them to like look over the neighbor's property like, man, that's a nice yard. So somewhere they draw their eyes, their attention to, and it grabs their attention. That has great value for someone's mind when they're looking out their window and they're looking at walking your property, and they gaze out the window, just a focal point. And so instead of spending all this money and sprucing the whole yard up, just look at small focal points, the entryway, the mailbox, or a very drawn window that you can just look out and say, that's nice, while they're looking outside, instead of like, man, I got to look at that house, or I got to look at that. You want their eyes to pull away from that and over to an area that's on your property, and it's relaxing, and it eases their mind, and like that's something that draws their attention. I think that brings great value. It gives a peace of mind, and it pulls that away from them. You don't want to add any value to the side of the house where you're not really walking up and down, or even a corner where your windows aren't showing. Those there, when they see it, like they get, if their eyes aren't drawn to it right away, I wouldn't waste your money or put your money in that. Another thing is, if you got plants or trees, your irrigation timer. You want a nice timer. You don't want a timer that's hard to read. It's hard to adjust, or the valve box is just all full, and you can't like see inside of it, because they're going to get an inspector and they'll open the valve box up and they're like, well, irrigation, don't know about. I can't grade it. It looks like it needs work. So it's not a lot of money to get that valve box all cleaned out, and you can clean it out and let it look. Just don't need to replace everything, but make it look presentable, where the wires aren't chewed and the hose look good. I think that adds, very small amount of money or just a little bit of effort to shine that up, gives confidence that, hey, look at my valve box, it's good. Look at my timer. Here's our timer. It's, you're going to save water with this timer. It's timers are low cost to replace overall, unless it's a hardwired or at a difficult location. And if that is, you need to move it. You want the timer in a very easy location, not in the back of the garage, and it's over top of a where it's hard to get to. They're like, well, let me see the timer irrigation. Well, here it is. Like, well, that's inconvenient. I need to move it. That's going to cost a bunch of money. All those things are going through their head when the things aren't convenient. They're trying to figure out, well, if I buy this, this is what I got to deal with. And the same thing with other parts of the yard. If I buy this is what I got to deal with. It's going to be inconvenient. Another thing that I think adds a lot of value overall is a small pergola. I mean, if you have room to go in your backyard, I mean, we're in Arizona. This is paradise. I mean, think about it. It's paradise. When people come, they're going to go to your backyard. They're going to go to an area where, like, well, where am I going to sit at? So if you don't got a great yard, if you're kind of small of a yard and you have it up against the house, I mean, a 10 by 10 pergola, I mean, you're 5,000-6,000 bucks for a nice little pergola, the metal louvers that move up and down. That just think about, like, I mean, the percentage of the return on investment on a $5,000 to $8,000 pergola is so small compared to sit there and they walk outside and look at the pergola and be like, wow, this comes with it. And I have seen a lot of value. A lot of new buyers are like, hey, I want a place of shade. I want to sit outside. I want to enjoy this beautiful weather that Prescott has. So that adds significant value. I mean, you can sit there and say, well, I want to add green turf. That's great, but they might tear it up. We actually did a house a while back. We added a turf in the front yard. The new buyer called us back and we ended up tearing it out. It was on the ground for less than like 6 months. And I'm like, that was a waste of money. And I honestly thought that turf would be valued, but they wanted to put plants in the front. So turf is good overall. I think that would be the next installing turf and pavers. Turf does add value because it's dry green. Or this dry area and kind of brownish area, turf stick stands out. But overall, I think a pergola would add more value than turf because you don't know what their plans are. Are they planning on putting a fire pit in the backyard? Do they want a water feature? What are they doing? But if you have a nice patio set, or a paver patio close to the house, I mean, a pergola, more than likely, they're going to leave it or move it because you can just move it, pick it up and move it. And you don't have to tear the whole property. If you unbolt it, you can move it somewhere else on the property. So I believe pergola, and not only talking to realtors, that adds great value to someone's backyard because they can go up there and they get their mind, they look up, they look at the sturdiness of it. And that's like, this is included. Let's go back and recap on the 5 things that add great value on a small cost for selling your property. First, I strongly recommend a paver walkway to your front entry. Spruce that entry up. Let's decorate the rocks on the side. Cover that weed fabric, put a fresh layer of rocks. Very, very important to make that entryway look nice. So you're not barely covering weed fabric, because all it takes is a wild animal to walk across your yard in that evening. And sure enough, that weed fabric showing the next morning when they walk the property and they see it. And you're like, wow, they got that skimpy. And then that's their negative thoughts as they go into the house. And also out front, it's very important to have a nice, I believe, a nice mailbox. Is your mailbox bent? Is it sturdy? Is it strong? And 4,000 bucks, you have a column mailbox where you can literally, it makes a statement. And it's like, this is a very nice mailbox. They see it out front because when they're going to that house, they're looking for the address. So you have a nice address on that mailbox. It stands out instead of a little bitty one. It's hard to read on just a black mailbox. I mean, it ain't a lot. Overall, it's a small amount of money for them to get their attention with the house they're going to. And then in the backyard, the pergola, I believe, is great value. And then also, I think it's very important to find a main window or a focal point where your eyes draw to. Everybody's property, either the back patio, the kitchen window, the front entryway, the corner lot, the corner of your property. Add some kind of a statement. Get some tall rocks, some kind of a landmark that says that comes with it. And I believe it, I strongly recommend, I know it sounds crazy, a flagpole, American flag. Put that out front, and that to me and other realtors said that it's in the Prescott area. This is a lot of veterans, a lot of retired people that fought for this country and fought for this freedom. They like flagpoles. We put a lot of flagpoles in. There's people before they even move into their house, they've told us we need a flagpole. I'm flying what I fought for. And so those are things that I believe adds value and is very stands out on your property. I mean, just really makes a statement. So I strongly encourage you on all those aspects. Any questions, put your comments below. Tell us what you think on how to improve your property and what you believe will add great value. Interesting in your feedback. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in to Landscaping with ZebraScapes. We hope you found today's episode helpful and inspiring to your landscaping projects. For more tips and resources and to learn how ZebraScapes can help you transform your outdoor space, visit our website, www.zebrascapes.com. Until then, happy landscaping.